Thank you. We have a quorum. Before we start with the individual bills for the agencies, a couple of folks I want to recognize. First of all, didn't have a chance to recognize from the floor, but Lee Posey with SREB is here. Lee, if you'd stand up for members of the Senate. And Lee does a lot of work, obviously, with the education, and Senator DeBar works with her closely. So we've got a conference at the end of June in Atlanta this year. And for any members that are interested in attending that, feel free to see Lee, and whatever education information you need. She's a go-to person for Mississippi. So Lee, good to have you here in Mississippi for the day. Thank you. Also, we've got a group of students from Meridian Community College, Tom Huebner, I see in the back, and glad to have them here. I told Tom, I said, this is about as tedious as it gets. So it's not the most exciting part of the process, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a necessary part of the process to go through all the funding for the agencies. Let me just give you a brief overview of where we are in the appropriations process. Most of you know that we've been through the JLBC process. There's been a legislative budget recommendation. That's largely what you see in front of you. There are two changes to LBR that you're going to note in here. One is we've added the teacher pay raise portion. We're not going to be taking up the education bill. That will come from the House later, but we're going to take up the Senate originated bills right now. But every budget you will see is at LBR with the exception of education, and each one of them has the built-in health insurance increases. We did agree to fund the health insurance increases for all the agencies. Everything else is at LBR. There will be some changes, and I'll discuss this on the floor tomorrow on an overview of the different budgets that were put in this year for LBR. If there are no other questions at this point, and again, I'll do a full budget overview tomorrow when we get on the floor. If no other questions, I'm just going to go through the individual subcommittees. I did mention this to the subcommittee chairs that came to see me yesterday. Again, because everything's at LBR, if you want to take up your bills in block, most of you know which bills may draw questions or what members may want answers on, so you can pull those out. Obviously, if you make the motion to take something up in block, I will entertain from any of the members of the committee a desire to set a budget aside. So if you want to pull something aside to ask questions on it, if they take those up in block, we'll certainly pull that aside. All right, if any questions before we get started for the members? Okay, hearing no questions. I think Senator Parks is first up, but I don't see her yet, so maybe she'll come in here shortly. But our next budget would be Subcommittee 3. Senator Frazier, you're recognized to present the budgets for community colleges.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. Make a motion, we take up Senate bills 3011 and 3012 in block.
Motion is to take up Senate bills 3011 and 3012 in block. Any questions? Does anybody want to set one aside? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Frazier, you're recognized.
Thank you. We had the following amount above LBR for health insurance. The community college board will be receiving $5,616 for staff health insurance cost, and also $644,436 for general support. And also we had to make a technical adjustment in the bill because the board decreased the federal funds by $22.4 million. The board was operating some early childhood academies that were transferred to the Department of Human Services with federal funding. So the board should have taken this out of the request. So we're doing that here. So I move that we take title sufficient to pass these two bills.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills will be reported. Thank you, Senator Frazier. Next, we'll go to Senator Wiggins back. Yes, we'll go to Subcommittee 4. Senator Wiggins, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the chairman said, we're at LBR with plus the insurance, and Senate action is $210,693,118, which is under the LBR, 11 million under the LBR. What needs to be noted on that is that a number of changes were made we took out a transfer from the Capitol Police, that was included last year that we've already done. There's also the MDOT to DPS is now called the Commercial Transportation Enforcement Division. And we amended that amount. And then we deleted some of the funds from a number of other programs. One is last year we included bulletproof vests. From some of that, we took that out just as a relation from last year. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Senator Wiggins? Senator Butler, you're recognized. That is, you should have subcommittee 4 in front of you. If you look behind the worksheet, you should have the bill attached. And that should have the language changes he references and the money. Okay, thank you, Senator Butler. Any other questions?
Title sufficient, do pass.
If not, the motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Wiggins, does that cover both your
No,
bills?
Mr. Chairman, I have corrections. Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I don't actually see the bill in front of me, but I do have my notes here. Is the bill in our packet?
You should have
And I may,
3013 and 3014 are your 2 bills.
okay. On Department of Corrections, again, we increased with the health insurance where LBR total Senate action is $341,922,815, which that represents 182,000 above LBR. And pretty much everything else stayed the same, Mr. Chairman. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Senator Hill. Can
Going back to the previous bill, I did not see Department of Public Safety in the packet. Is that a House bill or is it just left out of my packet?
No, it's number 4.
you should have the
Okay,
public safety.
mine only says, mine's only corrections. I don't
Well,
have
look-
anything except corrections.
Look in the back part. It could be separated, but it's in the about halfway back in
Okay.
the pile should be your public safety,
Okay.
3014.
Okay. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I think it was just, it's,
I got it.
okay.
Okay. Any further questions? Senator DeBar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Wiggins, with dealing with Department of Corrections, does it allow for pay raises for correctional officers and other staff working out there?
Not yet, no. No.
We're looking at doing that by the end.
I would hope so.
Okay, thank you.
And if to that question, when we had our subcommittee meeting, and for the benefit of this committee, the commissioner presented that they've been on a hiring spree. But what they were finding is that people were leaving. And the question was asked, because they did increase salaries, and the question was asked, why is that? The bottom line answer was that due to the economy and other things, they're finding other places. And so the corrections has worked at that. But, and he did say, which was quite honestly interesting, was that when they started their recruiting, that they included benefits and all. And his answer to us was, what they're finding is people would rather have money in their pocket. So they're trying to do that. So that's something for the committee to decide, and we're working with the chairman, but that's what we're looking at. So his point, and just to finish up on that, was, look, we did the benefits and all, but what they're hearing is people want the money in their pocket. So we're going to have to look at that.
Senator DeBar. Other questions, Senator Hill.
Just a question for Senator Wiggins. I think in the past, maybe you and I both have discussed the fact that that 27% that goes to benefits, or is more than that now, that we could recruit and retain better if we had an option on the benefits for some of these employees.
A better option on the benefits?
Yeah, if we had an option for them to just take the money and not the retirement, and, you know.
Well, and that's exactly what Commissioner
Yeah.
Kane testified before the subcommittee, was just that. Now, you know, that's something we'll have to look at, but that was exactly his words that, and please, I don't have the exact number, but if it's starting at 30,000 plus benefits, what he was telling us was, look, they want 37,000 minus benefits. So
Right.
how do we do that? You know,
I agree, and especially younger people, that
Correct.
they're not looking down the road that far to retirement right then. They're looking at what they can do to make ends meet at that point when they're getting out of school or trying to start their life. Thank you. I appreciate that fact that Commissioner Kane has brought that up, because I think I brought that up quite a number of times in here when we're talking about turnover. And when you get turnover in agencies like corrections, DPS, CPS, it's just very detrimental to an effective working agency.
and that's what he was saying. And look, we know what the economy is, and we know where people are not, or they're not working, or they're choosing to go other places. And that's what he was saying, that whatever the competition is, they're choosing to be paid somewhere else, go to a job where they can make more money.
And we just have to address it. We just can't keep kicking that can around, because I mean, it's just continuing to get worse, even though we've increased pay, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator McClendon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for Senator Wiggins and for the entire Appropriations Committee. I just looked on line 276 of the corrections bill. Number of assaults on officers per 100 officers. It's 31. So you have a 31% chance of getting assaulted as an officer. I mean, I just wanted to bring that to the attention of this committee. When we come to pay and benefits, it's a 31% chance of them, one of them getting assaulted.
That's not, these are performance measures. These are performance measures that are utilized to take a look, kind of a deep dive on every agency. Will have performance measures as to what their numbers are, expectations. That doesn't mean you're gonna have that number exactly, but all of this is data that we've looked at, and also trying to do things to keep the down below whatever those numbers are. In some cases, depending on the agency, what can we do to get people up above whatever that performance measure is? This is something that's kind of an internal analysis that we want every agency to be looking at to make themselves perform better. But yes, there are some that certainly that's an issue that we're looking at, is trying to get to a place where we're not having any assaults on officers.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak on that?
Yes, you may, Senator Wiggins.
And certainly to Senator McClendon's point, we need better trained. We all know that corrections, we've been working for years to get this agency where it should be responsible to the taxpayers and honestly to the inmates. But that's what Commissioner Kane came in the subcommittee and talked about. That's why he has said what he said about getting these salaries where they can be competitive. We just, that's what we need to look at. But they are at that stage, but he's been working to try to get better trained. They've worked on the training side of things with the people they're recruiting, and the reality is, he told us too, was by having a better salary, they can get better quality folks. And part of the reality that's been the case is you don't have that level of people. So you saw some of the problems, but I think from the plan that we heard in the subcommittee, that's what they're working towards to make it better.
Yeah, and let me say this as it relates to DOC and this, we've certainly opening up Walnut Grove and expanding Marshall. I know some of the constraints, some of the difficulties we've had in Parchment is because the workforce pool is so low. There are just so few people around the area of the prison. It makes it more difficult to get people. And I think the hope is that as you move some of the prisoners to these other locations, you're going to have more folks to be able to work there. The other part, keep in mind for all these agencies, just as a reminder, we're going to the new SEC squared program this year. So we're able to analyze the salaries of every state employee, which includes the prison guards. So we're going to be able to know that prison guards are at least at a minimum level compared to their peers in other states and compared to other jobs where they have similar training. So I know the issues they've had there, but I feel like we're on the right path to make sure, because we hear the anecdotal information. This is going to cut out the anecdotal information that somebody's getting paid too much or not enough. We're going to have the data to support that they're getting at least a minimum salary, and there are provisions in there where they can bump people, or they can bump people up, can bump people up within a certain limit. So I think some of these problems are going to resolve themselves under the new SEC square plan. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I
Yes,
say, because I think since we're talking about this and Commissioner Kane brought this up in the subcommittee about the safety, one of the things that they have done, if y'all remember, we had issues with the gangs. Well, they have done a lot to address that. Bottom line is they've moved the gang leaders somewhere else. And that has cut down on honestly, the threats to the guards, but also the things that are going on. They've instituted other programs. Bottom line was the classifications that were going on were not, at least when he got there, from what we've been told, weren't happening. And so they had to go in and get the gang leaders out. You haven't seen those things recently. In fact, I haven't seen any. So to your point, Mr. Chairman, those steps are being taken to get a handle on Department of Corrections for the safety of the officers as well as the inmates.
Yeah, thank you, Senator Wiggins. Any further questions? I think, Senator, you had a motion.
Title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Senator Branning, I apologize before we.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman. I have a question. I think it'll be very brief for Senator Wiggins.
Sure.
On the Walnut Grove Correction Facility, I see an entry for 6.7 million. Do you have a breakdown of what that consists of? Is it just salaries, or did they request?
We'll defer to Corbin on that.
Okay, and this could be information I can be provided after the meeting, but it
Yes.
is something I'm interested in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but we did put that addition in there, yes.
Thank you. I
For
appreciate
Walnut
that.
Grove.
Thank
The
you.
breakdown, Corbin's the man right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Branning. Okay, motion title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Wiggins. That concludes your bills. Yes. Moving on to our next subcommittee, Senator Delano, were you ready? I guess we need to get you a mic somewhere. You want to stand at the podium? Thank you. Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize for having to be in another meeting, appropriations meeting upstairs before getting here. Mr. Chairman, do you have an order of
Your
which
bills are
one you want to go
3015 through 3020. And again, as I reminded the subcommittee chairs, feel free to take them up in block if you want to, and I'll give any member an opportunity to pull or set one aside if they would like to discuss it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take up Senate Bill 3015, 3016, and 17, which would be the ag and animal control. And then I'll do emergency management separately.
Okay. So the motion is take up 3015, 16, and 17 in block. Does anybody want to pull one of those? If not, you heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain those three briefly.
Okay, great. This is the Agriculture and Commerce Department, the Beaver Control Program, the County Livestock Show, Dixie National Show, and the Animal Board of Health. All of these are at LBR with adjustments. And I will, Mr. Chairman, you want me to go ahead and give out all the numbers for these, or do you want me just to open the floor for questions?
I think every member's got a copy of the numbers in front of them unless they want to ask you, but I'll open it up for questions from members on those three bills.
If there are no questions, I'll move title sufficient due pass on these.
Okay,
Budget.
motion on 15, 16, and 17 are title sufficient due pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills be reported now. Moving to Senate Bill 3018.
3018, go ahead and let you know, that's a Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. Again, this is at LBR again. And this also includes the disaster relief budget as well. If there are any questions, I'll go ahead and yield for those at this time.
Any questions of Senator Delano? If seeing none, hearing none. Oh, Senator Hill, you're recognized.
That, I'm assuming that extra above LBR is insurance. Is that correct? The 17,820?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Thank you.
No other questions? Move for title suspension due pass.
The motion is title sufficient due pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 3019 and 20. You want to take those up in block or separately?
Do that in a block, please.
All right, the motion is to take up 3019 and 20. Does anyone want to set one of those aside? If not, you heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You recognize, Senator.
Again, these are at LBR with the addition for the insurance. If there are any questions, I'll yield for the questions. If not, move for title sufficient due pass.
Any questions? Not, the motion is title sufficient due pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Those bills will be reported. Thank you, Senator Delano. Moving on to Subcommittee 6, Senator Norwood, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take up Senate Bill 3021 and 3022 in block.
Anybody want to set one of those two aside? If not, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In 3021, the Senate action concurs with the LBO recommendation plus insurance. In 3032, the Senate action concurs with LBO recommendation plus insurance. That's 3021 is Senate action is 643, 439, and 3032 is 661, 884. The numbers, no questions, Mr. Chairman. I'll move title sufficient to pass.
Does anybody have any questions on those two items? Seeing none, motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Norwood. Those two bills will be reported. Moving on to Senate Bill or Subcommittee 7, Senator Michelle, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take up Senate Bill 3023, 3024, 3025, and 3026 in block. My motion.
Does anyone want to set any of those measures aside? Seeing or hearing none, you've heard the motion. Take them up in block. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You recognize, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3023 is the Employment Security Division. Senate Bill 3024 is the Mississippi Department of Revenue, which includes homestead exemption reimbursement and also the License Tag Commission. Senate Bill 3025 is the Tax Appeals Board, and 3026 is the Workers' Compensation Commission. They all include increased health insurance costs in the budget. They are at LBR recommendation, and they contain reverse repealers. I move title sufficient to pass.
Any questions about any of those bills? Not, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills be reported. Thank you, Senator. Moving on to Subcommittee 11, Senator Branning, you are recognized. I'm notified I skipped you, Senator Hill. My apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Subcommittee 9. Let me move Senator Hill and Subcommittee 9 first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Senate action is LBR plus insurance. Basically, the same as every other adjustment that we've added for insurance costs for the Department of Mental Health. And basically, from the previous fiscal year to this year, we have continued to add for community mental health services and the waiver-based services and PAC teams. So at this level, LBR plus plus the insurance, my motion would be title sufficient due pass, and a reverse repealer is also added to this bill.
Thank you, Senator. One other thing that was done at LBC that just FYI was that we have budgeted to include capital expense funds for a forensics unit at mental health. It is part of LBR, so it's not in addition to LBR, but part of that, and that was $4.9 million, $4,900,389 of capital expense funds added to a forensics unit at the Department of Mental Health. And then additionally, as Senator Hill mentioned, all these other changes for the adult mental health and PACT teams, which they have. So any questions of Senator Hill? Senator Turnford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do we know if the Department of Mental Health is anticipating adding any additional treatment beds with this budget?
I believe so, but I would defer to Corbin to answer that. But if I remember correctly from the subcommittee meeting, yes, there were some beds going to be added
Thank you. And I can ask
ARPA.
later.
in ARPA. Yeah. Mhm.
And I can get with you later. I just wanted to raise that question. Thank you.
Yeah, it'll be through the ARPA, but yes, there is a plan to add more beds.
Yes, yeah, ARPA, we've got a significant amount of money in for new beds. Senator Polk's going to go over briefly. If you want to pull that one aside, I think he's planning on taking those up at the end and block the ARPA since he's explained them already. But at that time, if you want to pull that one aside for specific information, Senator Polk can cover that with you. Okay, thank you, Senator. Any other questions of Senator Hill? If not, Senator, your motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Now, Senator Brandon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take up Senate Bill 3028 and 3029 in block, please.
Motion is to take them up in block. Any questions? Anybody want to pull any aside? If none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And like all the other budgets we've looked at, these are both LBR, which does include the health insurance, state aid road construction. The Senate action at this point will be $189,630,040. The Tenn-Tom Waterway Development Authority will be $384,246. I'm happy to yield for questions. Otherwise, my motion is title sufficient to pass.
Any questions? If not, you've heard the motion, title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills will be reported. Thank you, Senator. Now moving to Subcommittee 12, Senator Butler. Albert Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I would like to take up 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36 in block. And
okay. You've heard the motion, take all of those items up in block. Does anyone want to pull any measure aside or set it aside? If not, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, we have the chiropractic board, and they are level funded at Senate Action 106-461. And next we have Senate Action 31, dental examiners. And the Senate action on that is 1.99113. And for the funeral service board, 32, we have level funding there as well, which is 297-103. Massage therapy, level funding, which is with the exception of insurance, and that's 191-432. Pharmacy board, 34, which is level funding at 1728. And for the veterinary medicine, we have Senate versus level funding at 192,617. And all of this is with the exception of insurance and possible tour reverse reappeals.
Thank you, Senator.
Question.
Anybody have any questions of Senator Butler? None. The motion, senators.
I so moved.
Title sufficient do pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Next, we have Subcommittee 14. Senator Turner Ford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we take up Senate Bills 3037 through 3042 in block.
Does anyone want to pull any of those measures aside? You've heard the motion to take them up in block. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3037, Board of Architecture, 3038, Gaming Commission, 3039, Board of Registered Professional Geologists, 3040, Motor Vehicle Commission, 3041, Board of Public Accountancy, 3042, Board of Public Contractors. Senate action for all of these measures is at LBR plus increases for insurance. If there are no questions, I move title sufficient do pass.
Any questions? None. The motion is title sufficient do pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Moving on to Subcommittee 15, Senator Polk, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we take up item 3043 through 3054 in block.
Anyone want to pull any of those items, several items on that sheet, 4 sheets? If not, the motion is to take them up in block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Chairman. As you see, the total amount LBR had was $842,706,695. Senate action of $842,823.11. That gives us the money for the increase in insurance. And if there are no questions, I ask that the title sufficient if passed.
Any questions of Senator Polk? Seeing or hearing none, the motion is title sufficient do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Let's go back to, before I go to you on the ARPA, let's go back to Senator Parks's bills. She is unable to make it. This is the IHL support bills. This is all the subsidiary programs, ag programs, et cetera. I will, let me do 3002 separately, and then I think I'll take up the other ones in block. So 3002 is our IHL general support bill. The biggest change that we're going to have in this bill is the ARPA funding has expired. Last year was the last year of ARPA funding, so that will no longer be in the bill. And everything else is the same, LBR with the health insurance. Any questions? If not, the motion is title sufficient do pass. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. I will take up or seek to take up 3003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in block. Does anyone want to pull any of those measures? Motion, Senator Polk, is take up those measures in block. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You'll see again, each one's funded level. Subsidiary 79, 833, 814. Ag research at Alcorn State, 6,377,907. Ag and forestry at MSU, 32,099,481. Co-op extension, 44,119,290. Forest and Wildlife Research Center, 6,733,194, and The Veterinary Medicine College at Mississippi State, $50,220,280, includes the health insurance increases for all the employees. Any questions about those bills? If not, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Next is 3009. We do have a change. This was put in at JLBC, but this was to fund the William Winter Loan Program for teachers at $1.3 million. We're utilizing general funds, so that's the only significant change in the student financial aid bill. And then I'll discuss another student financial aid issue in just a few minutes. Any questions about student financial aid? If not, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And finally, UMMC, you may remember last year we appropriated funds to clean up and help move Asylum Hill. Y'all remember when they started doing some work there, they found that there had been a burial site for the asylum that had been located there before, and they're attempting to move and preserve the bodies that were located and move those to a suitable site. And so that project is not nearly completed. So we're going to reappropriate the funds. The plan is to reappropriate the funds for this year to allow them to continue that project. And that's $3,681,530. Everything else is the same at LBR. Any questions about that? If not, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Senator Polk to go through the ARPA bills that are left for funding.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. I would like to take up Senate Bill 3056 through 3064 in block.
As we entertain that motion, hopefully each of you have a sheet at your desk. Do each of you have this sheet? This is again our summary for ARPA bills. So take a look at those, and I'll let, he's going to take them up in block, but certainly if you have any questions about all of them comprehensively, certainly feel free to ask him. But the motion, unless there are no questions or anybody wants to pull one separately, would be to take them up in block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, I'm sorry, Senator, turn forward. You know what? Corbin informed me that's one of the ones we've already passed. That was one of the bills that we passed off the floor. So, but I'm happy to allow Senator Polk, if he would do it, to discuss that in more detail, if he's got the notes on what we did on the beds and some of the details.
I can, maybe if I can frame my question, because part of I guess the question that I have, if the beds are being funded through the ARPA funds, then what about the effect on the budget going forward after ARPA has been expended? So that's my concern with mental health.
Yes, Senator Polk and I, it's a good question, Senator Forward. We and I'm gonna let him expound on this if necessary, but we met with mental health and talked in detail about that. And that was one of my concerns, is some of the things that we would do through ARPA that might leave lasting expenses, if you will. And I think the number that we got to, Senator Polk, and is a roughly somewhere between $12 to $16 million of funds that may be recurring expenses after we get through ARPA. So for the next few years, there would be none. But at that point, once we come out of ARPA, that it would be in the neighborhood of 15. Senator Polk, you want to expound on that any?
I think you've done a good job, but it was about 15 million that be continuing.
And those are some of the costs that frankly, that we were looking at before ARPA came to for some mental health. You know, we're aware of the lawsuit that's going on right now. We're aware of some of the issues that have been identified for mental health as it relates to community-based care and some other, what's the crisis intervention type programs. And that's what some of the ARP funds would help address. And then there will be some kind of residuary at the end, I think, that we'll be dealing with as a state. Thank you, Senator Turn Forward. Senator Polk, the motion right now is to take these up in block.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator Hickman.
I would like to pull 3062 for a couple of specific questions.
Okay, 3062 will be pulled. Any others that anybody wants to discuss? All right, the motion is to take up all items in block with the exception of 3062. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Polk, you want to explain all the others except for 3062?
Sure. These are, we have talked about them over and over again. These are the appropriation amounts that we had suggested as a committee, subcommittee for appropriation to the eligible entities. And as you can see, we cover water, sewer, job training, tourism, health department, the Mississippi State Health Department for ICU and negative pressure beds, DPS for officer, first responder benefits if death, and then other Bureau of Building eligible projects, also eligible projects for DPS, and also for independent colleges and universities. If there are no questions, title sufficient to pass.
Any questions of Senator Polk? Not, you heard the motion, title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you want to cover 3062 now, please?
3062 is building of Bureau of Buildings monies that we will spend through ARPA for projects that are required on the 8 university campuses, the University of Mississippi Medical School, and for the community colleges.
Senator Hickman, you have a question?
Yes, just a couple of questions specifically. I'm just wanting to know what were the criteria or factors weighed in at deciding the amount that went to each institution, particularly the community colleges. And I'll be pointed, I'm asking this question because the community colleges that fall within my district, they're all on the lower end of the funding scale. So I just wanted to know, because I'm sure I'll get the question, what were the factors and what did we take into consideration when considering those amounts?
The most critical factor was we took the Bureau of Buildings recommendations of what they felt like each campus really needed to and needed desperately to ensure that they got that first. So it was the Bureau of Buildings and under DFA that actually came up with the list.
So basically it was kind of a need base, like if you needed more work, you got more funding, or is that kind of how it went?
Yes, more critical funding.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Polk. The motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. That bill will be reported. Okay, final bill we need to cover today is the deficit bill, and you should have it in your packet. I think it's towards the back, 3055. This is something we do every year to take care of various items that need to be handled for sometimes lawsuits and judgments, et cetera. In that list of the matters concerning judgments and settlements, we've got the Olivia Y lawsuit that we referenced earlier related to monitoring of our child protective services, and that's $400,000. We've got okay, making sure we got the right numbers here. The EPA settlement for the site down in Harrison County is $21,452. The Pickett lawsuit was $211,616. The IHS pharmacy lawsuit against Department of Corrections, that's a settlement, $625,000. We've got 3 inmates that were wrongfully incarcerated, $50,000 apiece for those. We've got a total of $675,000, and that's broken down $300,000 for the defending the lawsuits against the Department of Corrections, $100,000 for experts in the Dobbs case, and $200,000 in the case concerning the mental health department. And then the special master that the court has ordered in the mental health case is $75,000. Bear with me one second. And then in our other deficits, we've got the coronavirus local fiscal recovery funds, which is ARP funds of $8,046,958. We've got $606,000 for the Miss Win system. Those are for tower leases that have increased. We got $25,000 to defend a lawsuit filed by ACLU on open meetings. We've got $103,113 of funds that are for the IRS Affordable Care Act violations with Veterans Affairs. We've got, okay. Medicaid, this is funds they have, it's just giving them spending authority. That's $466,786,240. We've got the DPS, Department of Public Safety, death benefits claims of $5 million that will be paid through ARPA. We've got, hold on. Bear with me. My worksheet doesn't match up with our bill. What else have we not covered? Oh yeah, the Victims of Crime Act funds that were cut out of $9,852,684. And where's the financial aid number? Oh, financial aid, they've got these funds already. It's $3.5 million, which they have. That's not additional funding. That's money they've got set aside and given them authority to spend. And that's it. That's an explanation of 3055 questions. Senator Hill.
On the section 6 on the VOCA grants, that federal funding just went away that we were getting.
The VOCA funds.
Because that was federal grants to start with.
That's right. I'm trying to remember what the detail there was. Hang on one second. I can give you the details on why those funds went away. They weren't prosecuting the court cases and payments went away. They get funds from the cases they prosecute and they were unable to get those for the victims. And I suppose that was due, I think it was due to COVID and coronavirus, that the prosecutions went down significantly.
The prosecutions of the perpetrators against the domestic violence victims. And so I'm wondering if everybody across the country lost these funds or if it had anything specific to do with Mississippi.
Yeah, they did.
Everybody,
Yeah,
so
that's my
everybody
understanding.
basically lost these funds?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions, Senator Turner Ford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When you were reading the figures, it's on page 3, around line 56, you mentioned that there were some expert witness fees. Was that for the Dobbs case?
Yes.
Is that case still in progress or is?
Yes, it's pending before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? If not, motion is titled sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed nay. The ayes have it. That concludes our business. I'll entertain a motion to rise and report. All in favor say aye. Opposed nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Why did our numbers? All right.